That one doesn't quite fit. We are to improve the situation of the world. No. You go through all of that BS and you find that you have no answer.
What's wrong with the two answers you came up with specifically? That we're here to do good works for God and we're here to improve the situation of the world.
Well, the first major point is that we do neither. The second major point is that it's attaching an awful lot of importance to mankind in general. And they're very trite and sound a little, I don't know, preachy and sincere and have no relation whatsoever to our day-to-day lives. I don't know, you have to be in the frame of mind. It's not just the question itself. I can talk about it now and joke about it. But when you really are seriously asking yourself that, seriously, you have to be pretty depressed.
What do you think was happening in those first few hours or few days after you did hear this news, where you said that you did feel very different and you felt upset and you were wondering, you had fantasies about what you would do if you were given a certain amount of time to live? What was happening during that time?
Oh, it's very chaotic, and I did a lot of crying. And I felt the way I would feel if I was given an ultimatum. You can't believe ultimatums like that. Not if you're going to go on living. But it took me a while to get back into that state of mind, to see that, nothing was happening to me. There wasn't any drastic changes. And I don't have to follow the rules. I'm not going to lay down and take it, I guess I know when to give up, and give in. And it certainly isn't now.
Do you have experiences of giving up and giving in, or are you just the person that never follows the rules?
There's one time in particular when I let go, saying, okay, whatever's going to happen, it's going to happen. I was hemorrhaging a lot, and I was in a lot of pain, and I didn't imagine how, that they were going to get the blood out of me, if I was going to make it. I thought the whole thing would be pretty painful and pretty awful. Couldn't imagine an end to it, or a solution to it. And I asked my mom, I explained to her, not a very loud voice or anything, but I said, I really feel like it'd be so much easier if I could just let go, I'd really like to pass out, be unconscious. I asked her, would it be okay? Because I didn't want to just go. She said yes. And it was very peaceful. Then the ambulance got there and took me out of the room. I just felt a lot better. I think I know when to say I need to let go.
But what you're feeling now is very different, right?
Very different.
We used to call her shoe button eyes, and she had this way of kind of looking at you that could just tear you apart. She had a pleading look that was unbelievable. And she could really do a guilt trip on you in terms of she would really do it on me. I mean, when she wanted something, she would look at me, she would get down and plead. And you know, damn it, she had steel underneath all of that. I mean, there's a part of me that would like to believe that it wasn't deliberate. And I'm sure it wasn't conscious deliberate, but boy, it was deliberate. I mean, she knew how to get what she wanted. And when it didn't work, it was awful. I mean, she would be furious. And, you know, those times in the last few weeks before she died, when she would come in and ask to be with Bill and me, and I would say no. I had to consciously say, it's okay, Jeannie. It's really okay. You are doing what you need to do for you. And to believe that in doing what I needed to do for me, I was also doing absolutely the best thing for her. And I still believe that. I can still bring forth the guilt. I can still bring forth the looks. I can still do a number on myself about that if I choose to.
And Fred, sit down with me.
I just used to see her around the clinic a lot, and then I found out that her mother worked at the hospital, and, you know, her mother came in and saw me one day when I was sick, and said, you know, my daughter has leukemia too, and she told me all about her and stuff, and never really got to know her until we started the taping. I feel it helps me to get it out too, just to tell how I feel. And before I was all cheerful and stuff in the first taping, and, you know, thinking I'm gonna live forever and stuff, but now I realize that I'm getting pretty close to dying, and, you know, I'm not afraid to talk about it, or I don't want to avoid it because it's a fact. It's just the way it is. If anybody gets depressed by it, I don't want that to happen, but...
It's the way I am. I worry about whether people are depressed or not, especially if I'm causing it.
Sort of scary getting closer to dying, you know? I mean, when you're not that close, you can talk about it without feeling scared or anything, but now I'm getting a little nervous.
I don't know, I have a hard time between the fact that I want to be able to accept that I'm going to die so that I can let go and die peacefully. But like Joey says, you never know for sure when you're going to die.
See, sort of like this split where, like, part of you says, you know, well, I'd sort of like to be able to know and then let go, but this other part is saying, look, I'm feeling all right, and, you know, I'm not going anywhere right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not two things.
It's a real struggle.
And your mother is sort of, you know, trying to, she needs it to be clear in her mind, and that's that's not quite what you're
And I
at
can't,
right now.
you know, because if I were to have to make a clear-cut decision, I'm going to live or I'm going to die, right now I'd be closer to I'm going to die. And I can't accept that. Not yet.
You had mentioned in earlier, when we had spoken earlier, that she was a major support. You just had mentioned that at times now you might feel a little abandoned when she does stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where else do you find, you know, some strength in, well, some strength for yourself?
I just look for it inside myself, I guess. Don't really want to ask anybody else because I have a feeling the verdict's going to be the same as my mom's. I know it is.
Like, you know, who else is sort of close in your little network that you feel you get the same response from?
Well, my friends, they would say, you know, oh, you're going to live. But they don't know anything about it. You know, they just know what they want to believe. My doctors, you know, they would probably say, yeah, you're going to do okay. But you don't say to your patient you're going to die.
So even though they say you're going to do okay, that's not reassuring to you?
In the same way that they don't know definitely that I'm going to die, they don't know definitely that I'm going to live either.
You feel like when you get up to heaven, you you're going to have anything to say to God, because I know one thing, I'm going to ask him why he put us through this, and if he doesn't give me a good answer, I'm going to punch him right in the mouth. If I can. My hand might go right through his face.
When I think about, why I have this disease, sometimes I think, well, maybe getting back to the reincarnation thing, and maybe in my last life, I was real healthy and pretty scornful of people who were sick. Maybe I'm learning how. And I think I've learned a lot, having leukemia. It shaped my life in a lot of ways.
If you were reincarnated, what would you want to come back as?
A cat.
Yeah, me too. I'd like to be a great big fat cat.
Well, I want to start out as a kitten.
Just lie around all day long.
I've talked about this with my mom. If it should come that I would be dying, I would rather die at home, and she's would like to have me there. That's, I think, a decision each family has to make. If that kind of situation should come up. So I was happy that we were in agreement. Sometimes it's not always that easy.
And I said, I don't think the radiation's going to help. I think you should stop that. So what's going to make my spleen get bigger or get smaller? So I said, I don't think it's going to. So she just sort of rolled her eyes back in her head. And she said, does that mean I'm going to die? And I said, I'm afraid that's probably the case.